we'll do the live thing first. Like, hey everybody, welcome back to the Bigmark podcast. It's me, your host, Bigmark. If it's your first time watching, welcome. If not, welcome back. Like I always say, if you ever wanted to reach out to the podcast for any reason, hit us up either in the DMs or in the comment section, on all the videos, or even if you're on Spotify, know that there's a video there and you can use the comment section. Please go in there and let us know what you think of the episodes, and hit us up even further on, like I said, on the DMs and Twitter or Instagram at the Bigmark Pod or at the Bigmark Podcast to, really let us know what you think, or ask to come on the podcast. Like I've always said, I would love to have all my friends, join me here as a guest, but not necessarily all of them are, ready to be in front of the camera and talking, and some have jobs that might prohibit them from going off on here, as we do on the Bigmark Pod. But again, please let us know whatever you think. Please come on. I don't know if you want to be on, and I'm just like, please, if you want to come on, let me know. Either way, thank you again for watching. This is the best way you can possibly support the podcast, by watching and hitting us up in the comments and doing all that stuff. But if you can, like the video, or, subscribe to our channel if you're watching on YouTube, or follow along on Spotify and Apple Music, wherever you're listening and or watching. Again, that supports us and helps us grow, and, we're slowly growing the podcast as things go. It's, there's not too much going on, but every little bit helps. So, if you ever wanted to go that extra mile, check out our Patreon, patreon.com/thebigmarkpod. There's a couple of different, levels there, different, tiers, I think they call them on Patreon. Sorry. Anyway, check it out there. And again, thank you all for being here this morning, this afternoon, tonight, whenever you might be listening. And I don't know if this is the first podcast of the Bigmark podcast you've ever heard, or you're a longtime listener, but if you've seen the title of this episode, you're going to know we're talking about burnout today. We're not talking about doing fucking sick donuts in the parking lot, or, ripping it off the line with Vin Diesel. We're talking about, mental burnout. When you kind of been burning the candle with a blowtorch, and it's time to reevaluate things. And I think, who knows, maybe there's a lot of people out there that don't even know that they're burnt out, don't even know what the symptoms are, or realize that the way that they're feeling, coincides with essentially exactly what burnout is. I mean, most people are feeling it at work, but people have life and other endeavors, hopefully, that they can find pleasure in. But even all those things start to stack up, and it starts to pile up. It starts to burn you out. That's it. It piles up like fucking wood, and then it's like a dry, hot summer's day, and someone lights a match, and the next thing you know, you're fucking engulfed. You're golfing with flames. If you are wondering what the signs and symptoms of burnout, generally speaking, the physical symptoms are like headaches, stomach aches and stomach intestinal issues, fatigue, frequent illness, changes in appetite and sleep. Emotional symptoms may include helplessness, cynicism, sense of failure or self-doubt, decreased satisfaction, feeling detached or alone in the world, and loss of motivation. Sounds like I'm doing a ad for medication, but behavioral signs may include reduced performance in everyday tasks, withdrawal or isolation, procrastination, outbursts, using substances to cope. Now, if any of those things sound familiar to you, who knows, you might be in the burnout phase. As I'm speaking to you right now in this podcast, I think I'm in there. I think I'm in the mix. I think I'm in the borderline on the bubble at least. Lots going on, self-imposed and otherwise, right? Work and life and all these choices you make in life, they add up. And again, a lot of them are great things, but some aren't so great. So again, it's just nonstop. And again, if any of those symptoms sound familiar, there's a million different causes if you look at it that way. But, when life is just kind of pushing you down, your body and your mind and everything starts, it's kind of one of these things where I think as a conscious being, you're kind of making decisions and you're trying to do as much as you can. And, while taking care of your health and doing things like that. But even so, I think if you neglect any part of that mind, body, and soul kind of thing, if you neglect that, chances of one or three of those things fucking coming back at you and taking the wheel are pretty high. I think, again, Jim Carrey mentioned this. He talks about like depression, which I guess burnout would be essentially, at least in that realm of cognitive, disorders. Jim Carrey talks about depression is like when your avatar is tired of playing the character. So, he's kind of looking at it from a more of a spiritual side of things, this human body, however you choose to, think or accept that how we inhabit this human body, if we're just kind of, results of chemical processes in the brain and the body, or we are kind of a soul or spirit or whatever you want to call it, inhabiting this meat suit, if you will, in this 3D reality. However you want to see that, like the avatar is this kind of person you're being, even whether that's even just a philosophical ideal. Everyone is playing a character, all the world's a stage kind of thing, but we're all kind of inhabiting this role, whether we're super conscious of it, semi-conscious, or not conscious at all. And sometimes if you're not feeling it, even if it's like, I think not everyone has ultimate satisfaction at all times, but if you're mildly satisfied or content or whatever, like barely kind of in the realm of happy, some of those stresses start to build up, right? And stress is a normal part of life. It's we experience stress every day if you look at it that way. But again, when you're stressed constantly and your body's in this kind of heightened state of stress, eventually you start to burn out. You burn out of these things. There's like stress hormones, cortisol, things like that are floating around your body when you're stressed out. And when you're constantly done, like you have like adrenal fatigue and things like that, your adrenal glands start to fucking wipe out or, do their thing, or cease to do their thing, I should say. And again, your body just completely suffers. Now it's kind of one of those things like I said, I think whatever the saying is that, misery is better shared, or whatever the actual saying is, I can't recall. They kind of say like, it's easy to experience this like at work, like I said. And I think sometimes, like I mentioned before, one of the big, like kind of, emotional symptoms is cynicism. And I think like when you get into groups and stuff, especially at work, I think everyone can always be like, work sucks Mondays and this, work sucks, I know, kind of deal. And I think, again, like the sometimes misery loves company, I think is the saying is that I was thinking of, but I'm sure some people were screaming at their stereos, whatever they're listening or watching, televisions. Anyway, misery loves company, and that sometimes at work, when you might be experiencing it with your fellow employees, we start to kind of go on this negative spiral down, and as much as there's upward spirals, there's also downward spirals, right? So let's try to reverse the course at least and start working our way back up out of hell, kind of thing, with Dante. But I think again, like sometimes at work you're experiencing these feelings. It's tough to kind of pull yourself out of it when you're also surrounded with other people who might also be burnt out, kind of also dragging you back down in the bucket kind of thing. So I myself have experienced it, might be experiencing it now, but like I said, I've experienced it when I worked at a gym here in Hamilton. It was called Momentum Fitness, and I really enjoyed most of my time working there. I think I only worked there for a couple years all in all. But anyway, in my last year that I was working there, I'm pretty sure it was within a year, but at least the last year I was working there, our owner opened up a new location. So he was there almost constantly, where he used to be at my location all the time, and we had like a little bit closer connection. And him and I have like a way long relationship from way back. Like I used to work out at his gym when I was in high school, and there was a whole mentor-mentee program and all this shit. And it was great. And then when I graduated university, I got a job working at his gym again, but this time as a personal trainer. And it was, I was having fun learning, really using my kinesiology skills and all my experience with the football team and fitness in general. And it was great. But in that last year, when he started opening up the location, he wasn't around as much. And then the other trainer that I was working with all the time, left, and, he just quit and went to another job. And then another trainer that was there, almost as much as I was, he went back to school. So he was barely at the gym, if at all. So I was legitimately running the entire location. I mean, it's a 24-hour gym. It kind of runs on its own, but during the day, we were kind of required to be there, or it was better that we were there anyway, especially for me, because I was, not only, doing my training hours out of there, but I was also, doing new memberships. I used to have to onboard them and like, do a little tour, and everyone got like a free hour consultation, and and task switching, which my buddy Chris, if you're listening to this, you know exactly what I'm talking about, is one of the most like cognitively tasking things to do, is like going back and forth between different things. And yes, I was doing these orientations and showing people around the same equipment, but each person requires a different touch. And it was kind of cool. It really honed my sales skills, I have to admit, because selling people fitness is one of the hardest things you can do. I'll tell you that much. So I was just like doing so much. And then I was also in a band, and it was tremendous. And, had a girlfriend and had all these things that were like, happening and great, but I was just at my fucking wit's end. And then as soon as the other trainer came back from school, and then the owner was like letting the new location kind of run, coming back, I was like, finally I get a chance to like maybe decompress a little bit. We'll get into hopefully some tips of getting yourself out of burnout. But I was like, okay, finally I can get a chance. And being a personal trainer, you can make your own hours. Like, that's the whole thing. You get to do your own, get your clients in when you need, and then build it around your schedule. Who fucking cares? Like, that's, that's sick. Why wouldn't you do that if you have like one-on-one client-based shit? But anyway, I guess I wasn't pulling my weight or whatever. And again, I was burnt the fuck out, and, but not up to snuff with the owner. And, after a couple conversations that didn't even allude to anything. In fact, one of the conversations ended with, "Don't worry, Mark, I'm not going to fire you," which is pretty suspect if you ask me. He gave me 2 weeks to leave. Like, it was like I quit, but he was like, you got to go. It was like sick, man. Like, all right, awesome. So again, the end result of burnout, unfortunately, can sometimes lead to obviously not great things in life, right? So, but at that time, I was for sure burnt out. And the ironic thing is, actually, my stepmom, Andrea, hi, Andrea, actually came and did a talk for my entire company, the entire gym, everybody who worked there, and did a talk on burnout and how to be careful and the signs and symptoms and how to avoid it and all these things. And I'm kind of sitting there going like, all right, like, in my mind, no idea that I'm burnt out. Like, I think that's the thing. Like, you're going, all right, like, yeah, for sure, I'll keep an eye on that stuff. But I was always so go, go, go. My whole life has always been go, 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 going from here to there, and school and sport and this and that and the other. Like, my time is full. Like, I like having, like, I feel fucking weird when I'm just sitting doing nothing. but it's important for the body. So that's, I guess, brings us to, some things you can kind of actually try to avoid burnout. In fact, I saw a fucking post on, I don't even know if it was a joke, but I think it was on like Pubity or Puberty. I don't even know. Maybe that's not a fucking sick site. But anyway, not like a completely joke humor account on Instagram, but anyway, and it was talking about a study shows that people who visit at least 3 countries a year have 50% less burnout. It's like, yeah, fucking no shit. To visit 3 countries per year, you at least got to fucking have 3 weeks off, right? Like, what the fuck, man? Some people don't even get 1 week off. So some ways to avoid it. And I mean, I don't know. Like I said, this is, I should be practicing what I preach here. But again, disconnecting, try to have some type of concrete plan to get a better hold of this, because of these kind of helplessness, these feelings of being all alone and doing all this stuff. The only real way to kind of, this is not a pull yourself up by your bootstraps suggestion by any means, but really the only way to kind of get that out of yourself is with yourself, right? Like, you do really need, yes, okay, maybe it feels like you look around, you don't see anybody. Okay, let's accept that. So then who else is going to be there for us? Us. That's it. There's nobody else that's going to be there. So what are we going to do? We're going to start to fucking get a little bit more of a grip on things. We're going to balance the things out as much as we can. Unfortunately, that might come with severe like endings to things or severe distancing from things to kind of allow yourself to be a part of it. Whether that's quitting your job or doing or redirecting your hobbies and redirecting your time to other things, or, that's is severe. Yes. Okay. Again, it's not pull this rip cord without having another job. It's, or whatever you're going to do relationship wise too. This is something that does require, consideration and like with work, put a concrete plan in. What are you going to do? Are you going to leave? Are you going to ask your boss for a better raise? Are you going to do all these things? Same with your relationships. Are you going to leave? Are you going to be with them? Are you going to try to work on things? You stay the same. You have 3 doors in front of you for all these different things in life. Stay the same, make a change, or make a drastic, complete 180 potentially, or at least go in a different direction. So grab a hold of yourself. Start with your health. Is it your diet? Is it your exercise routines? Reincorporate those in life if you can, a little bit at a time. This is something that you're not going to bang out of the park right away, especially if you're deep in the burnout. You're not going to have a lot of energy to do a lot of things, and I totally get it. But again, start with the self, health, exercise, all these things, diet. Then concentric circles, work your way outside, your loved ones, other things. These are important things. And you'll know if they're important to you, and you will not. And this is not about shutting down from all life, right? This is not about going dark and restarting, because that's not going to do much good with your relationships and your social status and your job for that matter. But again, how do you do this? How do you do this properly? Think through these things, journaling, all these things like I've mentioned before, writing out a plan, budget, financials, all these different things cause stress. And like we said, stress is a normal part of life. And if you learn to reframe your stress, which is hard to say, but if you learn to reframe your stress as your body's way of preparing for change. Stress is your body's way of preparing for change. And you will feel all these feelings in your body. Again, these are feelings, these are sensations, but that is if you understand that, hey, I'm, charging up, or I'm preparing myself for something. Not battle, not, tiger, but you're preparing yourself for change. Hopefully that is a positive change, but again, any way you look at things, that delta sign, that change can be positive or negative. So, but the one hardest thing we can do is stay the same, because that's not going to fix any problems if you're having any problems. We got to accept that. If you're having any problems right now and you don't change anything, you're going to have those problems still. They're not just going to go away. In fact, they're going to pile up. like we said, they're going to pile up like a big fucking pile of wood. And then the next thing you know, someone's going to strike a match. So stay loosey-goosey. Float like a butterfly, sting like a wasp. You know what I mean? Take care of yourselves. Take care of your loved ones. Take care of your responsibilities. You know, life is still out there. Life still exists. But understand that you can make a change. It starts with yourself. It starts with that person in the mirror. If you're feeling burnt out and you want to talk to someone, I'm always here for you. Hit me up in the DMs. Let's hear about it in the comments if you feel like talking about it openly, and hopefully we can get other people in the conversation. But here's to getting out of burnout. Love y'all. Thank y'all for listening. I really appreciate each and every one of you. You're the best. See you next week. Peace.